Hi everyone and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And today we're talking about The Liar's Key, the second book in the Red Queen's War trilogy. So
Yes.
2 of 3. And this is like adjacent to the Broken Empire trilogy as well. Same universe.
Yep, and within the timeline of Broken Empire.
Yeah. So, I guess we will start with ratings. Like we always do.
I didn't even think of a rating. You give a rating first.
Neither did I, but I feel like I keep going with like something chocolate, but I don't know. Like, you know what? Maple covered donuts, because maple was some of my favorite like donut flavor.
Oh, yum.
And so
You know what?
makes me happy.
You know what I really love? Like when you buy like Canadian maple syrup.
Yeah.
And it comes in like the little glass jug with the tiny little handle. I'm gonna go with the carbonara that Stixie made yesterday because it was delicious.
So this is a really good book.
Yeah,
but I will say it does suffer a tiny bit from middle book syndrome.
Yeah, I had it wasn't quite epiphany level, but like a realization when I was finishing this book. And so far with the exception of most, I think the biggest exception would be the third Broken Empire book at this point. But I worked out. So there's some books that are really plot heavy where you don't like the protagonist too much, but you stick it out because you really enjoy the plot. Right? So far, these books, I'm not saying I dislike the plot, but they don't really have a really complicated plot. It's just what it is. But what makes the book so enjoyable is the protagonist. Like if we went on the exact same journey with any other protagonist,
like say Alex from the Covenant series,
we would go, these are the most boring books in the world. The only thing that makes them even semi-interesting is how much we hate the protagonist.
Yeah.
The plots aren't. I mean, this one has a bit more of a deep plot than Broken Empire.
Yeah.
Because like there's stuff happening behind the scenes a bit more.
Yeah.
But the adventure part of the plot is kind of just like, I mean, we spend most of the books so far, like all 5 that we've read so far, just walking.
Yeah, no, it's mostly like walking the series. But you're walking with such interesting people.
Yeah,
you just brought a frog in from outside. Okay, hold on. We have a tiny friend.
Please tell me he washed his hands before he picked it up.
Did you wash your hands before you picked it up?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
They absorb stuff through their skin.
Why are you putting it on me? Noah. Stop it.
They absorb stuff. Crotch shut.
Can you please get it off my computer?
They absorb stuff through their skin.
No, stop. I don't want to hold a frog. What the fuck just happened? Bring me a paper towel.
They're fine. Amy has a pet frog. He needs to get a terrarium.
My boyfriend just let a frog pee on my computer. I just... like, can we just... Gross. A toad. Excuse me. All right, then. Welcome to Book Club with Bay, everybody.
Well, if that's a toad, they're cuter than the toads we have here. Our toads are scary.
Okay.
Where do cane toads even come from?
Look, I also enjoy toads, just not when they pee on my computer. That's all. Hi, Pat.
Okay. So I was just looking up where cane toads come from. They're from South America originally, and they were introduced to Hawaii, and it was from Hawaii that we got them.
No.
They like intentionally, like that we did it intentionally, and it was a big mistake.
Yeah.
They're taking over the country.
Usually
Like
is.
you watch the spread of the cane toad in Australia, and like they were introduced to one specific region to kill cane flies in our cane fields. Because we didn't, our slavery / indentured servitude type thing produce was sugarcane, not cotton,
Yeah.
and the flies were fucking up the sugarcane, so they brought over cane toads to eat the flies, and they ate the flies
And
but
everything else.
But then they were
And they're
like, well,
just
what do we do
everywhere.
with them now? And you can't get rid of them.
Yes,
Pretty
and
sure they're hermaphrodites, so as long if you miss one,
yes, toads are poisonous. So
don't lick it.
there's that too. Yeah, don't lick a toad.
Lick toads.
Don't stop it.
Lick
Just
If he licks the toad, he doesn't get smoochies for a week.
that's until that's all boiled out. Where the fuck were we?
We were talking about how the plots aren't really plots.
Can I help you?
Get your hair from between your toes.
He's a shit.
Okay, so the plots are pretty much like we're gonna walk to this location,
and maybe a few things will happen along the way. Maybe they won't. Let's find out.
Yes, I still love you. Okay,
but yeah, it's the characters that make the books.
And Jalin is really fun.
Oh, he's a hoot and a half.
So
plot.
So plot.
This book starts 6 months after the last one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been 6 months since the last book. So 6 months since Jord got home, if you're keeping up with that part.
Yeah.
So we're like in a weird spot, but yeah. We have the key.
Yes.
We have Loki's key that opens all the doors.
Yep. And this is obviously the key. Like, spoiler alert, the book is named after the key.
Yeah, so it's called the Liar's Key, Loki's Key, etc.
Yeah. And I will say, just in reference to Loki, something was mentioned. It was towards the end of the book, but something was mentioned about Loki that I found kind of interesting. Where, like, while the key is called the Liar's Key, Loki doesn't actually ever outright lie.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Fae.
Yeah, from like Mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, his lies are more through omission.
Yeah.
Or implication.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
I was like, that actually, because the reasoning behind it as well was like, no, he gets more of a ride out of fucking with people by lying with the truth.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, I could see Loki as, you know, the deity being like that.
Yeah. So,
because also apparently the Norse deities are actually like this book in this universe, like they're actually a thing that exists. It seems like.
I know things, but yes, sort of.
Is that a thing?
Sort of. It's not revealed in this book. I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay. Also, because we started, like, I have a question, and it's like, I can't remember at what point in the book this gets mentioned, but at one point when Jalen's like, you know, gone back in time for a bit, you know, he sees Taproot.
Yes.
And and he looks about the same age. But this was like, you know, 50 years prior or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What that did was it also triggered something from another time that he went back in the book prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not actually, okay, for those listening, he's not actually going back in time. He's having like dream visions
Yeah.
of past events. When the queen is like going down to do the thing to make time go all funny. That's okay. They kept on saying like there was emphasis on like, you know, their root code because she was talking to a computer. And they was saying like, I'll wait until you got that sorted because I don't. It's okay. Is he looking for headphones?
Sorry, Mom.
Boys.
I'm sorry, Master. I do it. That's all.
Sorry, guys.
Book
Bay
clubs
has
are
a
always
distraction.
book clubs are always more interesting with Tuesday's boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah, so when she was in the thing doing the thing with the time thing,
Yes.
the machine person kept on going on about their root code and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do root codes have anything to do with Taproot's name?
I don't know. Do that? Yes.
Okay.
Ow!
That was all.
It's a bruise, you jerk. Okay.
Is he abusing you?
Yes.
Do we need to make a phone call?
Someone call the cops.
Can you imagine someone calls the cops and like, someone's being abused where? I don't know.
I don't have the location.
Somewhere in the general vicinity of Atlanta. That's all we know.
And they're like, we can't.
She's in a room with walls that look semi
beige.
beigey grey, and she's on a wrought iron bed. That's all we know.
You can't call the cops for someone who's not at your location.
So, like, my mom was on the phone with her sister who lived in Kentucky, and she was, like, physically assaulted, like, beat up while they were on the phone. And she immediately hung up and called her local police department. It was like, we can't do anything. They were like, something like that. Like, they legally couldn't take any action because she was in a different state.
That's dumb.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just a Kentucky thing, but yeah.
Bay, are you looking it up?
Yes.
It might be like a state thing, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I think that's for sure.
I'm just getting Australian stuff. I can't be bothered to try and look into what states where that's a thing.
Yeah. So, in any case, yes, that is a Taproot thing.
Okay.
And
I'm starting to put a picture together about Taproot.
yeah, so all that's talked about next book. Even though I have notes, I am going to say, because I've read these books so much, even with notes and stuff, they still all freaking run together in my head. So, can you be quiet? So if
He needs a shock collar.
I know, right? And so, can you turn that down a little bit? I'm sorry. You were distracting.
Not distracting.
So even though like I just read it and I took notes, I like all of it runs together for me. So if I mention something that happens next book or that happened last book, I apologize.
Okay.
It's just hard to keep them separate.
No, that's fine. Okay, so one of the things that we weren't sure about, if Jalen had told Snorri that he wasn't actually sent to the fighting pits by the Queen. Definitely didn't happen last book.
Yes.
And didn't happen this book because he avoided allowing Snorri to return home with him by saying he's a wanted criminal. So
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they haven't had that conversation.
Yeah.
So
okay. So they're up in, you know, Scandinavia
yes.
doing a thing. Well, Jalen's doing a person again.
Yes. Yes. It's doing some
Because it's
swords.
him. I like how the books kind of start in similar sorts of ways.
Yeah.
His dick got him in trouble, and so
Yeah.
he has to yeet. Because that's what was happening, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, because I will say as well, like I texted you as to why, like, you know, had to push this back a couple of days was I tried to listen to this book while, you know, my kids were home.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a book to try and, you know, listen to with
You can't multitask.
a toddler and a preschooler.
Yeah.
So, so the beginning part, I only was getting basic gist of what was happening more often than not.
Yeah. So, the beginning part, not a lot interesting happens right off the bat. It's more just like, here's where we are, here's what we've been up to. They're headed back down south.
Yep.
And
Snorri's got the key.
Snorri's got the key. Jalen's worried because he's like, what Snorri wants is to find Death's door.
Yep.
And Jalen's like, that seems like a bad idea. Maybe we should, like, I don't know, not do that. And Snorri's like, I have to go find my kids and my wife. And Jalen's like, I don't.
Yep. Also, just when we were ending the last book, I guess I missed this happening. The last of the Quints must have died in, like, the second battle in which Snorri got the key.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's dead now.
Yeah, they're not important from here on out.
Yeah. So their group is Jalen, Snorri, and
And Titigu.
I know Titigu. I couldn't remember if there was an R in there or not, and if so,
Yeah.
where the R went. Yeah, and Titigu. So they went north with, like, you know, a boat full of people.
Yeah.
Like with like 10 people or 15 people or something, and there's just 3 of them left.
Yeah. So one thing to also, I guess, just keep in mind moving forward, Jalen is still this is just like a note, I guess, like general world stuff, because last time when we opened the book and we were talking about the beginning, I was like, put a pin in all of this. So I'm just going to kind of go through the things that have pins in them by the end of this book, because I think that's an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
Because these books are not weirdly written, but kind of hard to talk about in a way that's, like, cohesive. So things to put a pin in.
Yeah, well, just because a lot of it is, like, you know, he has dream visions the whole book that, you know, all kind of, and this is all, they're all just mixed in amongst, you know, a shit ton of walking.
Yeah, so we might talk about the dream visions all at the same time, just to make life easier.
Yeah.
But things that have a pin in them, he is still in a ton of debt to Mary's Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And the other stuff that I have written down, we haven't gotten to yet, but his pregnant mother was killed. That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing to put a pin in. He has 2 brothers and a dad who's a cardinal. Things to put pins in. The Red Queen, cousin Sarah. Things to put pins in.
Yeah.
So even though a lot of that's not necessarily mentioned as much in this book,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
especially Sarah. I don't even know if she's in this, but
no, I don't even think she's mentioned in this.
Yeah,
book.
I don't think she's even mentioned in this book. But that's also a thing to keep a pin in, is that he has a cousin named Sarah. She's like who he thinks
only granddaughter.
And that's who he thinks at the beginning of last book the Red Queen favors the most. And so those are those are like the things. He's also like 12th in line for the throne. Another thing to put a pin in is that the Silent Sister was a conjoined twin, and the uncle is a person, and that's a thing.
Yes, and before anyone mentions it as well, yes, a boy and a girl were conjoined twins, and yes, it is stated in this book that it was weird. Well, not this book, the previous book. In this universe, it is stated that that is a weird thing, and they're the only male-female conjoined twins that anyone's heard of.
Yeah.
So, just addressing that before it becomes a thing.
I accept it as a thing. I accept stretching of stuff.
Yeah, and
as long as like for me,
well,
as far as writing goes, I've like asked people, is it possible that this could happen? And they're like, I mean, yeah, but, and I'm like, you said yeah, no, but, say no more. I don't care that the odds are astronomical. Doesn't matter to me.
In reality, probably actually not, because like a conjoined twin is like identical twins that didn't fully separate when the egg split.
Yeah.
But because they're bound by magic as well, like we can just, you know, in any book that, you know, has magic in it, if something's unexplainable but magic's involved, you just go, it's 'cause magic.
And not only that, I'm pretty sure there's like a thing where twins can become conjoined in the womb, maybe. Yes. I think that's a thing. And if that's a thing, then like, who cares? Like, you know, it's a thing. So yeah, they were conjoined twins, male and female, and it is what it is. It do be what it do be.
Yes. So
we're just gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
No reason not to.
Magic, done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and the relationship between the twins is kind of fascinating, at least what has been displayed so far has led me to believe it is fascinating.
We have another friend. This one probably won't pee on us. It is. Maisie, come say hi.
Hi, puppy.
Hello. She's like, put me down.
I want a puppy so bad. I'm not allowed to have a puppy.
I'm sorry.
No, I think the main thing standing in my way right now is the existence of my cat, and I'm not going to murder my cat so I can get a puppy.
Fair.
You know, time will do that for me. I love my cat, but she is getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like 13.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, in sometime in the next decade, I should be able to get a dog, and I think I can wait.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good waiting.
Yeah. So like where we're starting out. Sorry, yes. I just wanted to get like all the things to put pins in out of the way, because even though some of them were only mentioned in the first book, it is stuff that matters eventually. But yeah, so they're traveling south, trying to go home. And they're really traveling like the way that the magic is pulling them, kind of.
Yeah.
So, but it's pulling them south, and obviously Jalen is very excited about this.
Yep. Oh, and also Jalen is Dark Sworn and Snorri is Light Sworn. So an angel has a chitty chat with Snorri in the mornings, and a demon has a chatty chat at sunrise and at sunset. A demon has a chatty chat with Jalen.
Right, they've swapped. Yep. They've swapped things. So
yeah, but apparently, because in the first book, like, you know, they had to stay like really, really, really close to each other, or like, you know, like they were irresistibly drawn to each other, I guess.
Yeah, now they're not.
And that's they can, at the beginning of the book, they can be a little like they can give each other their personal space now, but they're still semi-linked.
Yeah. Yeah. In case we forget to mention it later, and again, spoilers because book club with Faye, not spoiler free book review with Faye. They wind up unlinked by the end of this book. So they can be totally separate and it's fine.
Yeah, are they still sworn at the end of the book? Because it like
They're
Jalen's
not.
opinion at the end. Yeah, his view at the end is like, I don't know. Like that's just kind of where it is. Like the last time it's mentioned is I don't even know if it's a thing anymore. We'll see.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But it's not really as much of a thing after that. So, so I'm trying to think if we should go ahead and go through the dream sequences.
I'm not. Probably not just yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they're yeeting. So it's Snorri, Jalen, and Titigu because like they were gonna go south anyway, but like they had to leave in a hurry again. They get on like a dinky little boat. Honestly, when I say a dinky little boat, it's probably still big enough, but like Jalen's like, "Where's the bigger boat?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, this is the boat." He's like, "No, I mean the boat we're going home on." And they're like, "No, this is the boat."
And he's like,
and then he spends half the time on the boat throwing up.
Yeah, Jalen still does not do well on boats.
No. And so their plan for traveling south is they're mostly going to they're doing their traveling on the water, but overnight they're mostly going to be going to shore and staying in.
Yeah.
And for the most part, because it's a small boat, so they can't really pack supplies.
Yeah.
So they're doing their travel-y thing, and then I can't remember what the first thing because also just the way that everything happens just while they're doing a travel, except for the major events. I can't, I know what order the major events happen in, but I don't know exactly where in the journeys they happen.
Yeah, I don't either. And I'm just going to say this, like, as far as us discussing the books, normally we go into heavy detail with the plot. If we talked about every little tiny thing that happened, we'd be here for 30 hours.
I mean, because like half the things as well is just like, sorry, I just remembered when he's banging like the milkmaid in the barn and the cows all come in.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
Because they don't speak the same language. He's like, "Oi, can we maybe not while the cows are here?" But she thinks that he's like dirty talking on.
It's a thing.
Yeah. So like, there's scenes like that where like ultimately they don't have a lot of consequence. It's just like this is just a thing that Jalen does.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna say it's hard to talk about a lot of it just because it's like, when did that happen? I don't know. I didn't write it down because I was like,
it's not important. It's more for the character.
Yeah, but one of the
first itself
big things that happens is they wind up in a cave, and they come across Skilfar.
Yes.
Who is?
Oh well, because that's where Snorri's like, we need to get to. Oh, because don't they get attacked? Wait, no. Does Snorri still has his wound or something? Does he have a wound already?
No, I think
in the last book.
I think they get attacked because it's been 6 months. So I think before they get there, they get attacked by Edris Dean.
Yeah, because Snorri gets his magical drawing wound. That's drawing him to thingy before
they get there.
Oh, have they already collected? No, they haven't. Have they collected the boy yet? No,
that happens afterwards.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they get attacked by Edris Dean. Edris Dean is a person, by the way. He's... How to explain who he is? He's a guy that serves the dead king.
Yes.
Yeah. And so why he's after Jalen is hard to explain until next book.
Yeah. But they're also we also established that the dead army are drawn to the key.
Yeah.
That's something that gets said here.
Yes.
Like not here in the book specifically, but in this book, in the journey, like because they keep running across the dead as well at various points, and they're like, no, they know the key's here. We need to like yeet. So it seems like they're drawn to where the key is because they're also like, well, how the hell did they find the key in the first place? Because the dead king or whatever is drawn to the key's exact location.
So yeah, so that's that situation. But so they get to this, so they get drawn to this cave as they're going south, where Skilfar is, and Skilfar is like an old witch.
Yep.
And she's old, she's creepy, she's weird. She's mentioned a couple of times in the Broken Empire series, but we never actually speak to her in that series.
Yeah.
But like when they're listing off all of like the witches and the people who are moving all the pieces on the chessboard, you get like a shout out to Skilfar, to the Silent Sister, to
Sages,
to Sages, to all these people.
I think Sages is probably saying that, but yeah.
Yeah. But you get shout outs.
And she's
to all these people. Them. Yeah. So did we talk about the Blue Lady in this book?
The Blue Lady gets brought up in this book.
Or the Lady Blue, I don't sorry.
Either way. I don't think she gets mentioned. I don't remember her being mentioned until the Red Queen.
Okay.
Is like, but he's just her puppet. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So
she
might get mentioned earlier. I don't know.
The relationship between the Lady Blue and the Dead King is a thing, and it's a thing for next book, but we'll put a pin in it. There's a lot of stuff that's like, we'll just put a pin in this till it gets resolved next book. So much happens next book. Oh my god.
Yeah, okay. It says, they do say in this book that, they are, like, they're either working like it's hinted that they're either explicitly working together or they're tentatively linked, like working together, or their goals are the same in some way, etc. So keep an eye on them both because they're both shady. Well, obviously one's dead and the other one is probably in league with him. So
yeah,
it's shady.
So they get to Skilfar. And they're like, and she's like, you have a key, and you're like the stuff, and you're like dark and light, and she kind of exposits a lot of stuff. It's where you kind of get a recap, but then she's like, here's my apprentice Kara, and and I gift her to you. And so now they've adopted a female.
Yep. And of course, Jalen wants to do a bangy bang, but she seems more interested in Snorri, who seems like he has a little bit of a hard-on for her, but he's still in love with his wife, so it's a thing.
Yeah, and he's thinking that Snorri thinks that he can get his wife and his kids out of hell.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. Sorry. And
yeah, this is Snorri's journey. Like his quest, this book is get to death's door to get a wifey woo.
Yeah, and Jalen's journey is I want to go home.
Yeah.
But at some point, like the next big thing that happens is that Kara is like, I can like open your mind to the past and stuff. And Jalen's like, do that. And she's like, okay. And she stabs him straight through the hand.
Yep.
With a knife.
Yep.
But then that's when he gets like all the visions and stuff.
Yeah, so he has all these visions throughout the entirety of the books. I think once she's opened that door, then it's just easier for him to do it.
Yes.
Because also the way that it works in this book as well is I don't know if this is for everyone or if it's just for Jalen specifically or what, but because there's magic obviously in his bloodline. So I don't know how, but he has access to things that happen to people that, like, memories that didn't happen to him. So like most of the memories that he's in this book involve his grandmother.
Yes. So do we want to
because
go through that? Or
Yeah, might as well. We might as well just go through them now, because this is where the first one happens.
so the first one is
I can't remember what the first one is. I don't know what the first one is, so I can't even just like start going through it.
Okay, so the first one is where we see the Red Queen, and she is young. She's younger.
Yep.
Like,
and Jalen is weirded the fuck out by this, which like I get. Like I see photos of my grandparents when they were young, and I'm like, you were once not old, okay.
Yeah, so he's weirded out. At first, he actually doesn't recognize her. At first, he's like, who the hell is this bitch? And she's like, and then he like takes a second, and it's like, she's really tall. She's in nice armor, not girly. And then she like does a frowny frown, and he's like, oh shit, that's my grandma. So
yeah,
once she frowns, he's like, oh, I get it.
Oh, just a quick side note as well. Throughout all of these visions, the Silent Sister can see him.
Yes.
Or at least she appears to be looking at him a lot. I'm guessing she can see him because she's magic.
Yeah. So I guess
is that ever confirmed
that she's
she
magic?
Can see him?
Oh,
that she
yes.
can see him.
Yeah, okay. It is. So because it's in the next book, a lot of stuff gets explained. It's confirmed that she can see him. It's also confirmed that like while it was in the past and stuff, she could see him watch. Like, because like that's where she's seeing him.
So the way I'm picturing it is he's not actually, while his body might be sleeping or whatever, his, I guess, spirit has actually gone back to when that happened.
Yeah, because she sees him back then. I believe that might not be accurate, but I believe that she sees him back then, which is why things that happen next book with the Red Queen and the Silent Sister happen the way that they do.
Okay.
That's all I can say without giving everything away.
Yeah, no. Because, yeah, the way I was reading it, that was my likely assumption that, yeah, I guess he was, for lack of a better term, like astral projecting to the past.
Yeah, more or less.
Where, like, the other option would have been that she, or like, whenever he has a thingy thing, then she like inhabits her previous body to have a watch. But I was like, either or, but my most likely conclusion was the first one.
Yeah, so like while all that was happening, it's kind of like a weird time loop thing, because like that meant that Jalen was there before he was born and stuff,
and things that would not have occurred, and his presence there led to things occurring.
Yes.
And so, people, this is why we don't time travel.
Well, it makes like a loop, like it's a closed loop, kind of like how the time turner works.
I'm fine with I guess like loop time travel.
Yeah,
because that one, it's like, well, no, because if you didn't go, like, you have to go back so that things can happen that allow you to go back in the first place, etc. Like, that's fine. If time travel ever becomes a thing, it needs, like, I'm fine with that. But if it's like you go back and you step on a leaf and like butterfly effect.
Yeah.
If that's the version of time travel we're going with, I'm like, that gets too messy, and let's not do that.
Yeah, this version of time travel is like that version of time travel from Harry Potter. Like a lot of books do closed loop time travel where like you can go back and happen because it's already happened and it's just like it's a loop.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like, for example, like Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie is closed loop. Second movie is butterfly effect.
Well, it's kind of like Harry Potter when they wrote The Cursed Child. I know The Cursed Child is no longer closed loop time turners.
Well, it's hinted in, like it is said in the Prisoner of Azkaban that, you know, like Hermione says, Harry, we can't be seen. People have gone back in time and seen themselves and freaked the fuck out and like killed themselves. But yeah, the way the story plays out is closed loop.
Yeah.
So it's silly because, you know, the way it's written, like the first order of events, the way it's written is closed loop. So yeah, it's silly changing that. But
yeah.
So
in
if
any
you're
case,
going to establish, if you're going to establish rules for time travel, keep them consistent. It's either butterfly effect or closed loop. Don't switch between the two because it just drives people crazy.
Yeah. So the first vision is him just seeing her do things. Like if nothing crazy really happens, they're just getting ready for a battle. And so nothing too exciting except for the fact that it's kind of like showing you they can do this.
Yes.
Then the next time we actually see the battle, I believe that's the next time.
Could be. I mean, I guess the order isn't overly important, but things seem to happen
in chronological
like his visions
order.
seem to be chronological. So we have so the second one, that the battle, is that the one where the time fucky thing happens?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep. So the queen is like, everyone, like I need peeps to the keep. She said she wants all the soldiers to the keep.
Yeah.
She's like, noble people can be, you know, born again, but like, you know, soldiers are like, you know, it takes time to it takes a fuck to create a noble. It takes time to train a soldier. So let's get the soldiers, please.
Yeah.
So then they all gather and she's like, computer thing, I command you to do a thing. And they're like, but no, because, you know, you don't have authorization. And she's like, wahaha, I have your override code, and says the override code. Although she's not talking to it like it's a computer because, you know, they like how we would talk to a computer.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we are aware that Alexa is Alexa and Siri is Siri.
They are not aware that Alexa is Alexa.
They think Alexa is magic. So she talks to it like it's a magical, like a builder magic being. And she's like, I know how to do a thing. So then she does a thing and it's like, oh, fair enough. I'll do a thing now. And then everyone freezes except for those that are closest. And then other people start moving. But the further... It sounds like I'm saying it weird, but this is how it's written until he works it out, okay? So the further people were away from the thing, they moved slower than those that were closest to the thing, and so then they run up and everyone's frozen.
Yeah.
And then he clicks. So it did kind of like a time thing where, like, I don't know if it's sped up time or froze time. I'm guessing sped up time.
Yeah, I think it sped it up.
Yeah. So those that were closest to the source of the time warp was like they're the most affected, so they can move the fastest. So then they go around and just kill the other army because they're kind of like stuck in time.
Yeah, we're not doing it justice because it's a really epic scene.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool scene, but that's just kind of how like that. Stripped down to its core. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it was written really well, and the imagery was really cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool battle scene. And like I'm usually not into big battle scenes. Not usually my thing, but I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, because you're not generally into, like the fighting with, swords and armor type fighting. You would prefer people just like beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Which
I like this
fair.
a lot. But I do love these books.
Yeah.
So, the one after that, what's the one after that?
I think. Oh, there's also I can't remember which order they're all in, but I know we'll just do them as we'll remember. Like we'll remember which ones there are. So then we'll just do them. There's ones where she's talking to her siblings.
Mm-hmm.
The Silent Sister is not blind in one eye.
Yes.
And her brother is not yet completely decrepit. And they're sitting around and he's talking about how he's got all this gold because father gave him some money to go and do some investments and blah. And she's like, but you'll never be king, right? And he's like, I could be king one day. So there's scenes that are a bit like, that.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where there's like a banquet, I guess. This is the one with the poisoning. And okay, so also the Silent Sister doesn't talk still. And every time her name, like someone says her name out loud, Jalan can't hear it. It's like the world just mutes for a second.
Yeah.
While her name is said. I'm guessing that's important. I'm guessing her name is somewhat important.
Yeah.
But the Red Queen, pre-Red Queen, can't hear her sister, but the brother can because they're still magically lit. So I guess she could telepathically talk to him.
Yeah.
So he works as a translator. So he's like, oh, Muty over there. She says that bitch is a bit sus, and she's like, oh well, maybe we should do a thing. And she's like, oh well, the thing's already been done. But then sus lady, who is the lady, was it Lady Blue?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. She also knew that a thing was being done. So then she switched wine glasses because there was poison in it. And so the guy next to her cocks it. No one notices that this guy is dead. I guess they think he's just passed out in his chair. So yeah, she's just having a casual chat with the person next door, on the other side of her, while this guy's dead. And they're like, fuck, how did she know? I don't know. Shit is sus. And then does something happen before the Red Queen's running through the corridors to do a thing? Like to check on her?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I can't remember exactly the events, but then same night, Red Queen's running through the thing to check on, is it her grandfather or her father?
I think it's her grandfather.
Yeah, her grandfather, because, it's his great-great-grandfather. So, yeah, so she's running to check on her grandfather, who is the king, a.k.a. The true heir to the throne of the empire in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's the nephew of the last emperor.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting that Jalen's family line is the heir to the empire.
Yeah.
So she's running through the corridors and his guards are, and he's dead. And they know that the Lady Blue is the one that killed him. Oh, also, while they're at the table, the Silent Sister goes to try and do a thing. I guess to try and read what's happening or whatever. And then her brother gets, pained and exhausted, etc. And then she's half blind.
Yeah.
And then there's another, I think it might be that same scene or it might be a different scene. I can't remember what exactly it is, but then they're trying to also I think something to do with the Lady Blue again. And she's trying to do her telepathic magic shit. And the brother's just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then at the end of it, they can't communicate anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't hear it anymore. But so she draws her strength from him, so that makes him more decrepit, and he doesn't recover from what she takes. He doesn't ever get back what she takes. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why he's decrepit now.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like crippled and stuff when they separated,
Yeah.
but now he
Oh,
is.
that's what they're doing in that scene. That was when they were trying to do their assassination attempt thing.
Yeah.
On this thing. And so he's like, I'm going to need you guys to go and do it. He says to his I guess, guards or whatever, that they need to go and kill her. Or did he send them to kill her? And they were going to try and block her seeing ability with Sister's magic or something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then you guys can yeet. There'll be money waiting for you here. And they're like, are you sure? Like, you'll be blamed. And he's like, that's cool. I'm broken anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, obviously it failed because she's still hanging around. And then also in the flashbacks as well, yeah, Jalen finds out that his mother was pregnant when she died.
Yes.
He just knows that it was going to be a girl, and that this was the child that his grandmother was waiting for, because she was going to have all of the magical power that was going to take over from the Silent Sister and help. And yeah, she was going to be a major power. But Mother Dearest was murdered.
Yes.
Because of the baby. Yes.
So what happens when you see her, because we see her murdered. We see that Edgerstein, and Edgerstein, by the way, is a necromancer. I don't know if you mentioned that.
No, we find that out in the last scene with him in this book.
Okay, cool. He's a necromancer.
They think for the majority of the book, they think he's working with a necromancer.
Turns out
he is the necromancer.
He is the necromancer.
That was just fucking badass though when he revealed it.
Yeah, it was.
We'll get to that when we get to that scene.
Yeah. So Edgerstein killed Jalen's mother and his unborn sister.
Unborn's key.
His unborn sister. Okay, bye. His unborn. Yep. Okay, I don't know if have I laid it on thick enough. Like his sister comes back as an unborn. Okay.
Yep. Oh, we also, speaking of the unborns, we also get some more unborn lore. This book, because last book it was just like, hey, yeah, so a baby that was not like that died like pre-birth is an unborn, and they can be turned into an unborn, their essence, etc. That becomes the unborn and all that stuff. And we're like, okay, cool. And because an unborn happens to appear the same day that, you know, a woman miscarried or had a stillbirth, we're like, oh, well, that unborn was created from that child. But then in this book, it might have even been with Stillfire or I can't remember who tells him, but someone's like, you're a dum-dum. The way this works is the power kind of ferments, you know, like, you know, you got your unborn baby grape, but you can't unborn it yet because otherwise it'll just be a grape. But if you stick it in a barrel and let it, you know, sit for a bit, that's going to turn into some pretty awesome wine and you'll get a really powerful unborn.
Yeah.
The longer it ferments, the more powerful it is.
Yes. So they're not like...
So you don't make unborns from a fresh dead.
Yeah, you can't just pop them in the microwave. You have to let them marinate for a while.
Yeah.
Dead babies. There we go. Dead baby lore for you.
So
you have to let them marinate.
I mean, if it's just, you know, for a matter of convenience or whatever, like I imagine like Snorri's dead kid.
Yeah.
Like unborn kid. They're like, you know, it'll be fun. Make like him dying by his own unborn baby.
Yeah.
Like that was just for shits and giggles. Whereas the way it's said in this book, Jalen, they're letting, because of her potential unborn power shit, they're letting Jalen's unborn sister become a really, really, really good vintage. I'm sorry, I like the grape analogy.
Yeah, they're aging her, so she's just kind of sitting in hell, waiting to be
Yep,
heated up.
unborn.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
because they want, yeah. So, that's the go with his sister in this
yeah,
book. That's the extent of his sister in this book. But so
but
then,
also we do have like the character arc of Jalen being like, I'm a weird replacement for what my sister's supposed to be doing.
which is kind of interesting because it's kind of like another mirror image with Jog.
Yeah,
Because it's said in that series that William was destined to be the greater ruler.
yeah,
Like the whole ambush where his mother and brother were killed was because it was for the sake of killing his brother.
even though George was older.
Yeah, because he was destined to be the ruler and was going to be a damn fine one at that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Jorg was kind of just like, well, I guess you're what we're left with.
Yep.
And same with Jalen.
Yeah, like his sister was supposed to save the world, but now we have Jalen to do it, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. So
someone who was equipped to save the world is dead, and now it's
like you could maybe do it if you tried. You could do it a half-assed job at doing a kind of okay.
Yeah,
attempt.
And so now they're like, I guess it's your turn to save the world. And Jalen's like, I don't save worlds, and they're like, yeah, we know.
But know what we got. Okay, no one else.
Like you're not what
no one else.
They're like, you're
okay?
not what I ordered at McDonald's, but you're what I have. So here we are. What? Yeah, I can hear you. Oh. So that's that situation.
Yeah. So
and now we do more walking.
Yep. And is this? I can't remember how, but we end up in Oshheim.
The key just draws.
How did we get there?
They just walk there. Like they're just like, we're just gonna go this way, and then
I think we're on the boat.
Yeah, they have a conversation.
I think they boated there,
where they're like, the key's drawing us towards Oshheim, and then Jalen's like, no, absolutely the frickety frack not. Nobody goes there, and they're like,
we get
but
some
it seems
Oshheim
like
lore.
They're like, but it seems like fun anyway, so we gonna go. So then they go and they meet a farmer, and then there's a battle, and then the farmer
because the dead are coming. They're like, well,
because the dead are coming. So Jalen's like, this is why I said we shouldn't go to Oshheim, and they're like, shh, be quiet. And so then the farmer dies, and then there's just this 10-year-old.
He's like, rescue my son.
I think it's his grandson, isn't it?
Rescue my boy. We'll say my boy.
Whatever. And then it doesn't really matter. He's dead.
Yeah.
And then
they rescue the boy. Yeah.
And now we've adopted a child.
Yeah, a little soulless kid.
Yep.
And Jalen's just like, great. Now we can't like I guess I can run faster than him, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then we meet a troll.
Yes.
I can't remember how or why we meet a troll, but we meet a troll. And
a lot of the things is like they're just kind of walking, and then they met a troll, and then they were kind of walking again, and then another thing happened.
Yeah, so
makes, and honestly, like, just if you're ever wondering whether you should read these books, yes, how we're saying them is not how they're written.
No, like,
it's just
it's a wild, like, okay, like it's a bit of a, like, a lot of the aside stuff that happens like mid walking is like not necessarily
Give me my
relevant to the story.
Not after the hostility I was experiencing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like relevant to the plot itself, but it still works. Like they usually still often add some sort of extra layer or extra bit of development for the main character or his relationships with other characters, etc.
Right. So
so they journey with the trolls for a minute there because they're like, oh well, that's extra protection from the dead.
Yeah.
I can't remember how or why they leave the trolls, but then the trolls are no longer there.
And this is kind of left up to interpretation, but if you read the Broken Empire series, you remember that we met some people who were all fuckity dude because of the nuclear fallout.
Yep.
And I can't tell if the trolls are trolls or humans who were also fuckity dude.
I would wager that they're fuckity dude humans.
Yeah. So, because
everything seems like the magic and everything can still even be explained through like really advanced like quantum mechanics and all of that shit.
Yeah.
Like probably not just exclusively that, but like a lot of the magic stuff in this, it's still all things that are theoretically possible.
Yes.
And we don't have trolls.
And we don't, and this is also not a universe
they're a breed
with
of mutated humans.
Yeah, and this is also not a universe with like an abundance of magical beings. I know it sounds like it because of like the Unborn and then some of the stuff that's in the next book, but unless it's dead people, then we don't really have magical creatures. We just kind of have fuckadoodle humans.
Yeah, and let me just give me 1 sec. Where the fuck? Because is Osham on the map?
Let me look. I have it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Okay, so I've loaded in.
So where is that in terms of? I'm gonna see if I can find the map that has like the layover of like, you know, the real map.
Hold on. Why don't I see it?
It's it's on. Okay, so there's Ankrath, and then you keep going east along the coast. It's right next to Maladon.
We could not send the invite.
Oh yeah, there it is. So
yeah,
that would be.
Where the fuck is that?
Okay, yeah, try that.
That's gonna be. Oh, so it's gonna be.
Here we go.
Towards the Slavic states.
Yeah, wait. Where is Ankrath? Looks like it's like north Germany. Or mid to North Germany. So I'm guessing like the trolls are probably like, because they're also described as big. I'm guessing they're probably just like more of the like, you know, roid looking European guys that are naturally semi-roid looking.
I pulled up a map of Europe.
So
that's going to be like
over here.
Yeah, so it's going to be towards like the Baltic Slavic stuff. So like kind of
it's just
Poland,
it looks like it's
possibly
just north of Frankfurt.
Possibly past Poland.
No, it's just north of Frankfurt.
Okay.
I've got it up. Like I've got a layover map. Wait. So. Oh, that's not going to work. But yeah, it looks like it's just north of Frankfurt. If I'm reading this right.
Can you send me the URL?
If my phone yes. Okay. Share.
Do you see island with a lighthouse though? When you say appear, do you mean like
oh wait. Oh, it's in a tweet. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, share tweet.
Are the shipping containers, if you face the ocean, are the shipping containers to your left?
Share tweet via. I'll just send it to the
Okay,
group
we
chat
are
because
on-
that's the one that comes up.
Okay, so do you also see? Okay, to your right, do you see like a little fishing dock, a little house with a fishing dock?
There you go.
So.
Okay, just let's meet. Okay,
Oh
see-
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, well
So
I'm
it's gonna be.
Also, remember we have stats. So sprinting.
Yeah.
is
So
one
we're still in
thing,
Germany
is
in
one
Offsheim.
consumed.
We're getting close to
The
Prague.
big crane.
Yeah. See, it's kind of hard to tell because of the lower sea levels
Yeah,
where everything is.
that's
So
what,
like,
that's
for
what
example,
I was looking at for a layover map.
like Berlin is underground, is like underwater.
Yeah, actually, might be a good idea. Like, just bring it up anyway because it's kind of just interesting to see
Is there a map?
it.
Let me share my screen.
Do it. Did it.
So that's
So the shipping
Yeah.
container place.
so that's where it
Yep.
is.
Yep. So this was Mark Lawrence didn't do this overlay, but he shared this is shared from his Twitter.
Yeah.
So where we're at, do you want to bring?
Do you see an island with a lighthouse?
Do you want to bring the
Here.
pointer up to where it is? Where we're
It's
at?
here.
Oh.
Like, I'll just.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
So you can see we're kind of like there's Prague
And
the
there's
Czech
the
Republic.
coast. Yeah.
And there's the
Yeah,
coast.
It says that you're on.
Yeah. So we're a
So,
bit south
and
of
then
Berlin, a bit
Also,
west of
Ancraft is
Prague.
over here, which is
Controls. Map.
Ancraft is like very eastern Germany.
Yeah. Fuck, he does a travel because then he ends up home. Which
Yeah.
is,
So because they started like
up here, up near
here.
Denmark.
Yeah, like there's stuff up here, and then we yeet. So basically, because we started up in here, okay,
Because that's not part of the overlay, people.
that's
It's
not part
there,
of the
but it's not part of the overlay.
Yeah, it's not part of the overlay. We were up in here, and we're coming down this way
Yeah.
towards Red March, which is there. That's
Yeah,
home.
and then where do we end up at the end? Where
The
are
end.
we at the end?
They're separated at the end.
No, but where the mine is. Where the frig is the mine?
No.
Let me.
I'm climbing.
What?
See if I can see another.
It's further south than that. I know that much. They go south.
I don't know if it's on here.
Because where does he go to do his banky thing again?
He goes
When
to
he decides to be. Okay, and so then they go further south than Florence.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's in Roma then, maybe, or south
Yeah,
of Roma.
because they wind up farther south than Red March.
In either direction.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
Don't see.
yeah.
Like they do so much walking.
I know.
So-
Like honestly, I mean, you can see why it was much more common to be fit back in the day, and I guess in this universe well into the future as well, where they decide to live back in the day, effectively,
Yeah.
because they're in the future, but it's more like
It
back
feels
to
like
armor
it
and
feels like the
swords.
Renaissance. I mean, it's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. There's three ways to travel: walking, which requires you to be fit; horseback, which makes you fit. Because people who think that horse riding is not a sport, you try horse riding all day and see how sore your legs are after it.
Yeah.
And the third is in a carriage or a wagon, and I guess
Or in a
the
boat.
carriage or I'm in a cross land.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, also or in a boat.
But also like the way
In
that all the
general.
cities and like the society is set up, we are past the Middle Ages.
Yeah. Because like there's still weird incorporations of like modern stuff still.
Yeah.
Like half the castles and shit are like old skyscrapers.
Yes.
But then also yeah, there's no cars or like, and there's still some, you know, like advanced computer uses, like the Queen uses friggin' something that speeds up time, I guess, or speeds molecules up, etc.
Yeah.
But she's wearing a suit of armor and killing people with a sword while she does it.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
What's this?
It works. He's
It works.
incorporated modern tech and semi-futuristic or really futuristic tech within the society, but he's done a good job.
And then also we still get like references to now. Like I think in the very first scene where you see like Loki talking to somebody, like somebody sings, you can't always get what you want.
Yeah, but it's like the words are like slightly, like a couple of the words have been changed.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a song that, you know, enough people have sung that it stayed mostly true to it, but also, you know, it's slightly changed, but not enough to be
It's kind of like the Drake
it's
and
like
Josh
two or three words.
How like the real word is real line, but everybody's like, it's realized, shut up. And so if enough people sing it that way, what are the real words 20 years from now? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's like that.
And like, or Luke, I am your father. That's not the line, but most people think that that's the line. So if the movie suddenly stopped being available, then it would go down in history as the line being, Luke, I am your father.
Right. Yeah. If you could no longer be like, no, it's this. It would be like, well, in pop culture, it's this. So therefore.
Yeah. And I like how like they made cement sound so much fancier than what it is.
Yeah. Builder stone.
It's builder stone.
It's cement.
It's literally just cement.
But every time they see it, they're like, builder stone. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I'm like, oh. And you're like, it's fucking cement. Yeah, calm down. It's everywhere. And they're like, it's so beautiful. We're so close.
Well, you know that the only thing I can't work out is what is okay. So there's builder steel as well, which I'm guessing is just, you know, steel.
Yeah, but like our steel.
What is silver steel? Because they start mentioning silver steel in this book.
I'm not sure.
Like the clockwork soldier dude thing. He's made out of silver steel.
Let me Google it. I honestly,
because most of the stuff, like you're able to work out. Like apparently, also they can like, okay, you know how like there's those light bulbs in those buildings that are like 100 years old, where the original light globes still work. I imagine that the builder lights that are still working are those exact same lights.
Yeah.
Because those globes just never die. So I'm guessing that those are the builder lights that get.
Yeah. Either that or they're just old street lights that still have like solar panels or something.
Could be that too.
It's to your left.
Because also like, according to him, because I also have like the author's note for the Wheel of Oshheim up.
Yep.
Where it breaks down everything that's important. And the nuclear war happened about 50 years from now.
Okay.
Well,
so it could just be like street lights and stuff that are like solar powered or something like that still work.
Yeah.
But basically anything from the before time is builder blank.
So you were in a town and you went to the dock.
So So like even our writing, like our language and everything is, is builder tongue.
Is
Is it builder tongue?
the sun, the
Yeah.
water is on
Yeah.
my
Yeah, and then our books and stuff are builder texts.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and yes, because apparently they don't. I don't know if they must still speak.
water when I write. Oh wait, I should remember.
builder tongue is reserved because like it's preserved because
Are there train
Jord
tracks on
can
your right?
read builder text, but he
Yeah.
doesn't understand a lot of the words
Okay.
because
Progress.
Yeah, so their writing has changed.
but he doesn't understand a lot of the words because it's words like, you know, neurotoxin and like astrophysics and stuff like that.
Big
So
ass mouth.
Jord can understand it and read it and stuff,
But
when
he
gets
doesn't.
to words that don't make sense to him, he doesn't know what it's saying.
Yeah.
So he can't really effectively read a lot of the builder text we see him read because while we understand what's being said, and Jorg is reading the words in front of
Still
him,
don't know how to-
it's, you know, it's kind of like the first time you hear like a new scientific word, even though it's in
Okay,
English,
is there
you're
an
like, the
i-
fuck does
is
that
there an
mean?
island off the coast?
Yeah.
Speak it to English. I don't understand.
No. there's-
Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's pretty cool because like the first time like you read Builderstone, you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what the
it's all
fuck
right.
is Builderstone? And then you work it out and you're like, it's just cement.
You're like, it's just
So you're
concrete.
in a town.
Like
But
Well, then,
it is some sand mixed with cement and some water just poured down.
yeah.
That's literally all it is.
But they don't have the technology to make more, so therefore it's like a marvel, and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
So-
So then also while they're in Osham, the wheel is drawing them.
Yes,
it.
the wheel wants to say hi.
And Jalen's like, no.
I
Everyone's like, but let's, and he's like, but no.
can't find.
And so they don't yet.
Yeah, so then they don't yet because otherwise we wouldn't have a third book called The Wheel of Osham, I guess. Because if they've already been there, then it's done.
Yeah. And then also to explain a thing, I'm just going to read out what he said. Because read out how he put it this way, because this is a good way to explain what's happening in the world. And like I said, I'm sorry that's so disjointed. It's just the only way to talk about these books. Is to next book, it's going to be much easier to go point by point because a lot more important things happen in order, and like there's not as much.
Well, I feel like
I dropped the
Emperor of Thorns had a bit more of that to it too.
Yeah. So what he says is the change the builders made has been accelerating as people use magic more, in turn allowing more magic to be used. A vicious cycle that is breaking down reality and leading to the end of all things.
Snowball turning into an avalanche.
So the world is ending.
Yes.
And then he also says the Red Queen believes disaster can be averted, or at least she should try. The Lady Blue wants to accelerate the end, believing that she and a select few can survive to become gods in whatever will follow.
Yeah.
So
effectively there's a side that's like, there's three sides. There's the side that's like, this is fine, nothing's wrong, everything's fine.
So
Then there's a side that is, no, we need to do the right thing and stop the end of the world. And then there's the other side that goes, but sometimes we can build grand things from the rubble.
And then the other note that I think might be important right this second is the Wheel of Oshheim is the region to the north where reality breaks down and every horror from a man's imagination is given form. Kara's studies indicate that at the heart of it was a great machine, a work of the builders, mysterious engines hidden in a circular underground tunnel many miles across. Quite what role it plays in the disaster to come is unclear.
Okay, killed a zombie.
Yeah.
So that's everything.
So
I feel like that expresses it better than we can.
yes. And then so then we don't go to the wheel, so that's fine. And we leave Oshheim and we keep doing a travel does anything happen between Oshime and him getting home, or
I don't
anything important?
I don't think anything. Like, I think it's important to know
Sorry,
that while we're saying-
throughout.
sorry.
I was just gonna say throughout this as well, Kara wants the key, and Snorri wants to not give the key away. And Kara's getting in Jalen's ear about how they need to stop him from doing what he wants to do, and the key needs to be taken, but there is a curse associated with it, and it can be taken through trickery or theft or something. And yeah, there's a whole thing
But it can't
about
just
the rules of taking the key.
Because you can't just. I don't think you can just
Walk up and snatch it out of someone's hand.
Yeah, and you also don't think you can just like give it to someone.
No, you can.
Okay.
It can be freely given, or it needs to be taken through trickery.
Because it's Loki's key.
Yeah, and he's a trickster.
Another thing to note about, like, when we say nothing happens, there's a lot of stuff that's happening as far as the people
on the journey
and stuff. So, like, Jalen and Snorri are getting a lot closer, but also they're getting a lot farther apart because of Snorri's quest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Jalen is still starting to respect him more and more and more.
Yeah.
And Jalen's starting to become a lot less selfish.
Yeah, and he's
selfish.
like he's now at the point where he's like, I wish that Snorri could, like, realize, like, allow himself to have feelings for Kara and settle down, but only after I fucked her first. So that's where he's at now in terms of all that stuff.
Yeah. So
then they get to near home, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go home now.
That looks like
a
dome, like a church dome.
And so the group now is Snorri, Kara, Jalen, Titagu, and
Henan. Wait, when did Titagu die?
I know.
Towards the end.
Okay.
Ooh, I found.
Yeah, Titagu dies this book.
Sorry, I just couldn't remember where he died. I was like, when did he die?
When there's the fraud tower thing, and they go to do a rescue, they find him dead.
Right, I found a tire iron.
Yeah. So they're like, why don't you take young boy with you, because our journey is not safe for children. And he's like, but do I have to?
Because where they're going is Snorri still wants to go to find Death's Door, so he's still kind of following the magic, following the key.
Yeah. He's going to go. He's actually going to, what's his face? What's his name again?
Edris
Kanan. Kalen. No, that's a K noise, like sound. The spider dude.
A BK-18.
What the fuck is his name?
I'm pretty sure it starts with, like, it's either a K or a hard C.
No, what is it? It's a single shot break action hunting
I
rifle.
don't know. Kellum.
Yeah, that's because he's the one that's behind Snorri's injury that is drawing him in the direction of him. He sent assassins after Snorri to get the key. And they left him with a wound that can't be healed, and it's forming crystals or something.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, let's fucking go there, because they also know that he knows where Death's Door is, etc.
Yeah. So
that's
wants
where
to
they're
find
going.
Death's Door. Jalen doesn't want to go.
Yeah. But he frames it as, I miss my family. And Snorri's like, well, of course you miss your family. Go home to them. But take boy with you, because, not the safest mission we're on. And he's like, fine. So then he goes. He gets to the castle, and he's like, they're like, who are you and why do you want entrance? And he's like, excuse you, I am Jalen,
the
prince. I am a prince. and I demand to be let in.
But you have to understand, Jalen hasn't had a haircut in a while. He's looking
everyone
a little
thinks he's
rough.
dead.
Everybody thinks he's
last,
dead.
Because
last they saw of him, he was at the opera and it was burning to the ground.
Yes. So yeah, he is assumed dead. And then so the gate guards go and get a person who's like, he comes to the gate and they're like, oh fuck, it is you. Okay, come on in. The side gate is open, and he's like, I demand to be let through the main gates. And he's like, well, the key is all the way back there. It's going to take us probably a few hours to get permission to get the key and bring it back and open it. But even if that was a thing, the gate's currently being repaired, so you kind of have to go through the side gate.
Yeah.
You do?
And he's like, well, fuck's sake, fine. So then he does that, and then he's like, I want to see my gravestone. And they're like, righto. But on the way there, I think it's on the way there, he runs into his brother.
Yeah.
So he runs into his brother, and his brother's like, hey, bro, you're alive. And then Jalen walks up and punches him. He's like, the fuck? And he's like, oh, go to the opera, you said. It'll be fun, you said. And yet.
Yeah.
And brother's like, oh, yeah, no, like that's kind of fair. I didn't actually expect you to go. I was like, I didn't go. I didn't think you were going to go. But, like, you know, apparently, like, you know, and clearly you didn't go. And he's like, no, I did go. And I almost burned to death, but I got out. And he's like, oh, well, I'm off to go away with my wifey poo, who is pregnant. And he's like, oh, who's your wife? And he's like, oh, you know that chick you were banging at the beginning of the first book? Yeah, her sister, who you've also banged a bunch of times. But the brother doesn't know this. We know this. Brother doesn't know that.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the one. And he's like, that's awkward, but cool. All the happiness to you, but now I'm sad that I don't get to bang her anymore.
Yeah.
And okay, off you go. I'm off to go see my grave. And then they go, and he's like, they go to the cathedral thing, and he's walking in, like he's going to go inside because he thinks he's, you know, gonna be in, you know, where all the royals are buried and shit. They're like, no, you're out here with everyone else.
So he is pissed.
Is there a reason for this?
Other than just like they didn't have space in the other one, no.
But he even says as well, like, you know, when they run out of space, they move like the older forgotten ones down to like a separate crypt to make room for the new ones. But like, and he's really upset as well because he just gets like, you know, Jalen, son of Cardinal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no prince. There's no. All I get is, you know, I am the son of someone.
So he's angry, and also it kind of gives him like a massive attitude adjustment because he's like, I want to be remembered, damn it. And he's like, because nobody knows like what he's done. Are you wearing a skirt?
No. Wait, what?
His game character is wearing a skirt.
Like a skirt or a kilt skirt?
Pink denim skirt.
It's a pink denim skirt.
And a hoodie and tennis shoes.
Is his game character a boy or a girl?
It's a girl. A boy, sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, but I prince, damn it. And I want to see my father. And they're like, oh, you're off again so soon? He's in Roma. And he's like, God damn it. So then, like, he's like, no, I'll just go to my fucking room, I guess. Do I still have a room? Is this still a thing that I have? Do I still have clothes?
He does still have a room.
He does still have a room. He does still have clothes. Also, his brother that he saw was like, oh, yeah, you should avoid other brother because he's not going to be pleased to see you. Something about some guy coming up and, like, beating the crap out of him for some debt. And he's like, which is, you know, thingy from last book that he owes a shit ton of money to.
Yep.
And he's like, oh well, fuck. I guess I better avoid him. Hopefully he doesn't find out I'm alive until after he's already paid all my debt off, because that would be awesome. So that's his point of view with that. Now it's the next day. His return has been announced at church because he went to church hoping his grandmother would be there.
Yeah. Well, because grandmother never misses a service.
Yeah. But she wasn't there. He's like, I guess she was at the private chapel this morning. I shall go to court. So then he goes to the courtroom, like, you know, where court is held.
Yeah.
And he's like, his eye, Prince Jalen returned from the grave. And everyone's like, okay, fair enough. And he's like,
I don't see.
can I have a little bit of fanfare, please?
Yeah. And nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yep.
It's really sad, actually.
I know, right?
Because everybody just sees him as like the prince that was like one of the furthest down the line of succession, who,
I'm just gonna run down.
Yep.
House.
And he's like, "Hello, grandmother," and she's like, "Just a moment, someone's about to come and challenge you for a duel." So then someone comes up and challenges him to a duel. And he's like, "You deflowered my sister, and now my brother is dead." And he's like, and then the queen's just like, "Excuse you, remember your place." And Jalen's like, his place. I remember. You can't. I don't have to accept your duel. You're not royal enough.
Yep.
It has been written. So, I had my fun with your sisters, and we'll leave it at that. He's like, my sisters?
Yeah.
You can.
You fucked your brother's wife? And he's like, oh fuck, no, the other one, which he fucked all three of them.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But he's like, the other one, and he's like, and then this guy's like, oh, goodo. And he's like, why do you look so happy that I fucked your other sister? He's like, oh, well, you know, she's engaged to a count who can duel you.
I have a shotgun.
And Jalen's like, well, fuck. God damn it. And so this guy like walks out all happy because their other brother who is now the new whatever position their father had because dad's dead. And then the queen's like, so, where you been? What you been doing? And he's like, oh, I've been on a mission that
like, yeah, and Jalen's like, I fucking did a fucking thing, and then I came back, and nobody gives a shit about me, but, like, I've been, like, you've been throwing up so much, and, like...
Wait, before
so
that,
he's
like, I've been on the quest that she sent me on, and points to the silent system, and Queen's like, everyone out now.
Yeah, you're right. And then he goes into his tirade of like, and like, I threw up so much, I've been battling so much, nobody cares about me, and I'm epic. I'm so epic. But
yeah, I've been dealing with fucking unborns, with necromancers, dead people. Like, do you know how cold it is up north?
Yeah, he's like, do you have any idea? It's so cold. And she's like,
I was stuck up there all winter.
And she's just chilling and listening and just like,
like just checking and inspecting your nails.
Yeah, she's just like
just waiting. And then she's like, are you done?
Yeah, and then she's like, you done throwing a tantrum? And he's like, no, I guess.
And she's like, okay, well, carry on. He's like, he loses his bluster and he's like, hey. And he's like, okay, maybe I should be like an adult now. Maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like,
but he does have an epic rant of like, and I come back to nobody cares about me, and you sent me on the thing. And he's like, you knew I was alive. And she's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's the other thing as well. Like, he didn't just say I've been like off where she sent me. It was like I've been off on the mission that your sister sent me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the Queen's like, and she's like, oh, so you know everything, do you?
And he's like, and this is when Jalen has the old shit moment. Because at this point, like, the Red Queen has never really spoken to him. She only refers to him as, and she refers to him as the little one, because he's the smallest of her grandchildren, probably including his female cousin. But I believe it's this scene where she like says his. It's one of the first times that he has ever heard her say his name,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Well, I've got 2 guns.
"You know my name."
You actually remember that? You know, like we share DNA. Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to like give a fuck.
Yeah, he's like, "Grandma."
You really do love me. You learnt my name.
More or less.
But then she's like, so you mentioned somewhere in that tantrum that you found the key. He's like, yeah, we did find the key. Snorri's got it. And she's like, and where is Snorri? And he's like, oh, he's on his way to go open. He's on his way to go open the door.
Combination lock.
And she's like, well, you better go then. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And she's like, yeah, you are. She's like, you're
nope.
She's like, you're the backup chosen one. Also, can I just say, I fucking love, like, something I love about it is that he's the backup chosen one. And, like, I honestly...
The hero that nobody asked for, nobody deserved, but the one we're stuck with anyway.
Yeah, because, exactly. And I think it's such a good arc. I think it's a much better arc than, like, the traditional chosen one. The backup chosen one. It's just like, really? And everybody's like, yeah, really. Like, it's you. It's all you. Somebody who was far more qualified, had a PhD in chosen oneness, is dead. And so, you, who never went to chosen one grade school, you're the chosen one.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, we could have asked one of, like, your other siblings or one of your cousins, but unfortunately,
Like a domey thing, or is it just?
You were the one.
And yeah, like, look, okay, in chosen one class, you know, your dead sister, she got an A+. You got a D, and everyone got an F.
Yeah, like, so
everyone else got an F.
Yeah, everybody else showed up and got an F. You didn't show up, so we don't know how you'll do. So you're the chosen one. And he's like, I should have gone to class.
Yep. So that's where we're at. Okay, that, like, he's... And because, like, you know, we have the reluctant chosen one stories, but, like, you know, they're like, Alex, you're so amazing. You know, there's her. But, you know, she's like, I don't want to be the chosen one, but I'm going to damn well prove that I can be. And where Darren's just like, but I don't want to. And I'm going to tantrum until you tell me I don't have to anymore. And then mid-tantrum, he accidentally throws a sword and it kills the right person at the right time. Yeah. That's Jalen's approach.
Yeah, basically. And then also, pretty much, when he's like, I don't want to be the chosen one, his grandmother's like, yeah, well.
Let's see how this bat does.
I don't want you to be either, but you're all I've got.
Yeah, she's like, but you're all I've got. And for some reason, your sister was supposed to be magical, but you're like a little magical, and you're the only other one. Are you qualified in any other way? No, but your genes worked out, but here we are.
Yeah, she's like, you got good eyesight.
Yeah.
She's like, because, she's like, so you've seen, because he mentions the sister again, and she's like, you see well. And he's like, I see better and better every day. And she's like, do tell. And he's like, well, I saw a thing. And she's like, well, anyone could see a thing. And he's like, no, but I saw a thing. And she's like, oh.
Literally bleeding everywhere.
See, that just proves I'm stuck with you. We got to do a thing. So go get the key. And he's like, no. And so then he goes and sees his uncle.
Yes. He spent more time on Chosen One on the social media than doing the Chosen One homework. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He does not know how to be the chosen one, and it is delightful.
Yeah, he's got no interest in learning how to be the chosen one.
Stay there.
He's just
stay there.
Fate. All of like Fate's little helpers have like all joined together and just like force him into situations where he's stuck being the chosen one.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to be the chosen one anymore, and then 2 seconds later, it's like chosen duties are like in your face. Damn it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna do a thing, and then he gets kidnapped for a duel by his like ex fuck buddy's fiance, and then that just pushes him again. Like, because he sees it. Because does he speak to his uncle? I'm guessing before that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his uncle's like, you got to go to a place and do a thing. And he's like, okay, I'll get money out of it, sure. Because his uncle sends him to Thingy, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when he's like going to do the thing, yeah, he gets temporarily kidnapped again.
Chimney stack?
He's always getting kidnapped for about like 10 pages.
Yeah, and then there's
It happens about 40 times a book, but it doesn't get old.
Key to
Because you
this
buy
one.
it.
Snorri's not here to save us.
Okay, I think after this one, we might need to.
Snorri is not here to save us. So
Here's what I'll say about this. I usually don't like character separation, but in this it works so well because like Alan does so much growing when he's not near Snorri, and he's not.
Well,
like,
I think
Snorri for him.
Well, yeah. Well, I think one of the differences as well is half the time. Well, not half the time. 99.9% of the time, the character separation is, you know, your significant other or, like, I don't know, a lost parent or something, and everything you're doing is trying to get to them. You need to find them. You need to rescue them. You know. Whereas this is like, Snorri's gone. I can't. Shut up, feelings. I don't miss him.
Yeah.
And then when he's in a bind, that's like one of the few times where he openly admits to himself, I wish Snorri was here.
He was like, if Snorri were here, he could save me. Now I have to save myself. Like it's like that.
And he does.
And he does. He does save himself. Go Jalen.
Yes. So he gets out of that situation and then goes to where the fuck he goes to be a banker or a trader.
Florence.
Sorry. Yeah, he goes to Florence to go do some trading. He has a trading lesson.
Yeah.
Why did his uncle send him there anyway?
I forget.
Killing a zombie with a can of soup.
Yeah, no, it's not important. The important thing is that he got there.
Yeah.
And he borrows money from the bank.
Not for him though. It's for
Nice.
It's for the trading.
Yeah.
He needed capital to start trading.
Yeah.
So he's trading for a bit.
I say
and then he's mostly just breaking even.
Yeah.
So like he's not doing bad, but he's not doing great.
Yeah.
And then he's because also like, you know, what is it, Henan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Henan, he left back home because, you know, but now Henan's here and he's in debtor's prison.
Yes.
And debtor's prison is if you owe money, you get thrown in debtor's prison until your debts are paid.
Yeah.
Effectively. And anything that you have on, like anything that you can carry in and keep remains yours. And so if you have money in, you can, and just say you owe 1 gold and you walk in with a gold, you can say, hey, I want to pay my debt off, and then you're free.
Yeah.
What else did you download?
But if you owe 30 gold and you have 1 gold, you can use the gold to buy food. Because you don't get fed unless you buy it.
I feel like it's getting kind of late.
So like everyone in there is not doing too great. But he's like, I need to do a thing. And he's like, okay, person who works for bank thing. How do I go about getting a person out of a thing? And he's like, oh well, there's this, but you'll want protection. And he's like, oh, I'll get a sellsword. And he's like, oh, or you could buy like a clockwork soldier thing. I didn't get a clear picture of like the clockwork soldier things, but you know, he's like, and you know, they're not bought, so they're blindly loyal. And he's like, no, I'll get a sellsword. They don't ever break their oaths, so he gets a sellsword thing, and then he goes into prison. Why does he take in such a giant briefcase of gold? I can't remember, but he takes in
to get Henan out, basically.
Yeah.
To buy him out.
Yeah, and he wasn't sure how much he would need, so he takes it all.
Yeah, basically.
He's got some coins on his person, but most of it is in a briefcase, effectively. And so he goes in there. They're like, oh, you got a lot of money. He's like, yeah, I'll be taking that with me. So then he goes in. And then the prison guard dude is like, oh, there's your friend there. And he's like, oh shit, he looks bad. He looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been in Florence for about a month now.
About this, 'cause remember,
and so like looking at Hennon, he's like, fuck, he's been in here almost as long as I've been here.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's eaten in a month. So then he goes in to like help him up, and the gate gets shut behind him and he gets locked in. And they're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh yeah, the bank called in your loan. And yeah. And he's like, well, give me my suitcase. I got the money. And Sellsword's like, yeah, so after the bank called in your loan, that meant that I couldn't work. Like, our contract was up because my payment was on contingency. Or, well, not on contingency, on whatever, on paper through your bank loan.
Yeah.
So our contract's up and they hired me.
Do we want to go
or whatever. So the money, that money isn't going to the bank either to pay off his debt. It's just like, it's just being taken. So it's like, well, sorry. You should have paid me with coins, not paper. Just the way it goes. So he is now in debtor's prison, and he does not have anywhere near enough money on him to pay his debt. He's like, well, fuck. So then he's talking to Hennon. He's like, how long have you been here? He's like, I don't know. The days all run together, but I think it's been a few. And Jarlin's like, I think it's been a lot more than a few. And so he's still got coins that he had on him, and so like he's paying some of the other people to like be effectively his bodyguards in there, and he's buying food for him and Hannon and stuff. And then he's like, okay, so where's Snorri and the others? And they're like, he's in. And he's like, they're in here too. He's like, well, fuck. Okay. What about the key? Where's the key? And he's like, Kara hid it. And then he pulls this thing that is not a key out of his hair.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's the key, but Kara disguised it. And he's like, okay, well, how do we re-key it then? And he's like, it needs to be held under the shadow of a key. And
Yeah,
like,
because
okay.
the key, if you remember, they can get the key. They can get out, basically.
Yeah, because it opens any lock. Apparently also psychological locks, it helps you remember things and all that stuff as well. So then he's like, okay, well, we need to do a thing. So then he pays the prison guard to hold a candle and the key in a particular angle onto this thing to turn it back into a key.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, someone dies.
Yep.
So the body, so then it's that night, like the body's been removed, it's that night, and this dead person rocks up to the freaking bars, and it's the guy that died before, and everyone's like, I thought he was dead, and like he was dead, and maggots were eating his eyes, and blah, 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 and it's like, and Jalen and Hennon are like, no, that is a dead dude, but he can't get through.
Peter! It's been forever. I'm sorry.
Oh! Is Peter here?
Yes.
Hi, Peter. It's been ages.
Damn.
Oh!
It's been so long, Peter.
We missed you.
We did. We missed you a lot.
Yeah.
So they so he gets like his belts and shit and ties like the dead corpse up, because then they're like, we got to get out of here. The dead, like they know where we are, because obviously they've reanimated this guy. That guy over there looks like he's gonna like cark at any minute now. Anyone who's got food or water, please give it to him, because we don't want one of those in here with us. But we got to get out of here. So, yeah, he manages to tie up dead dude. to the bars. And then they open the lock and everyone's like kind of like hesitating. He's like, no, we got to get out. So then he like grabs some of the coins he has on him and like chucks them out, like to get everyone moving. And yeah, so then it just it turns into like this whole thing, like where, you know, effectively he's having to unlock gates and then like throw money to try and get people to move. But then like people are like, oh, you're the one throwing money. We want it.
Yeah, basically.
And so then they beat the crap out of him to get his money, and until Hannon's like, hey, because also the guards make an appearance and like, yeah, they get trampled. He steals the keys, gives them to the people so they can continue to make their way out, and he's like, oh look, he's like, there's his money, take it. But he took a good chunk of the money, but like he hid a good chunk of the money on his own person before he told them.
Yeah.
So then they go and they're like, well, let's avoid the front gate where everyone's paying off their debt. We'll go out the back way. But oh, lo and behold, there's more corpses.
Yep.
So, you know, they're trying to get the fuck away from them and everything, and Wild Kara appears.
Yep.
And she's like, I want the key. Give me the key. And they're like, no, you can't have the key. And she's like, give me the key. And he's like, no. And then they have a bit of a fight themselves. And then he breaks her nose or whatever. Oh, no, she breaks his nose. He does something else. And then Hannon knocks her out. And then they yeet again.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like, we need to go rescue Snorri and Tedigu. And he's like, well, we can't break back in there. And he's like, they're not in there. They're in Fraud Tower place. And he's like, well, fuck, we definitely can't get him out of there. And he's like, but we have to. And he's like, well, fucking
we gotta want to be the chosen one. Yeah.
But then he's like, and then
he's pissed about
he's like,
this.
no, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry,
but then they do. And Kara comes back along and she's like, soz about that, my bad. Let's go rescue a Snorri.
Yeah.
So then they go to rescue Snorri and Tedigu. They're like, fuck, how are we going to get in? So they're having a look at the place, trying to suss out how they can get in. And then he remembers the chat he had with the guy earlier in the book about, I'm just calling them the Clockwork Soldiers. I don't know what they actually are. He finds a Clockwork Soldier thing and like puts the key in the keyhole because he learned how to program them. He puts Loki's key in the hole and makes the thing loyal to him. And he's like, what's your name? And he's like, my name is Guardian. I am a Clockwork Soldier. I like, you know, like, fuck, what do you want from me? He's like, okay, well, you're going to help me rescue a person now. And he's like, okay.
Yep.
So then they go to rescue them. And they find dead Tedigu.
Yep. Tedigu is dead.
And Jalan is surprised with this bizarre feeling that most people would call grief.
Yes.
It's new to him. He hasn't really experienced it before, you know.
Yep.
I mean, like, he experienced it with his mother, but, you know, like, that's different. Like, you know, he more got abandonment issues from his mother dying, whereas, like, this was, like, actual, like, oh, okay, I guess I should kind of acknowledge these feelings, maybe.
Lisa got married to someone else yet?
No.
Okay, sorry.
I kind of expected something like that to happen, though, with all the, like, mirrors of Jalan and Jorg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he's like, well, fuck, okay. He's dead. That's not good. So then they go to, and then Snorri's there too. I think they've already gotten Snorri. And then what's his fuck comes up? Edrastine. Is it Edras?
Edrastine.
Yeah. And he's like, Wahaha, I have found you. Give me key. And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, well, you know. And he's like, and so then they sword fight. And then, you know, they do their fighty fight. And Jorg stabs him, like, fatally.
Jalan stabs him.
Oh, sorry. Jalan stabs him almost fatally.
Yeah.
And this guy's laughing, and he's just like, oh, lol, you know, like, you're a moron. And he's like, what? There's no necromancer here to rise you from the dead. No necromancer is watching, coming to save you. And then he's just like,
I'm done.
and then, yeah, and then he just like starts laughing even more. And he's like, what's so funny? He's like, you moron, I am the necromancer. And then he stands up and he's like, and the closer I am to death, the stronger I am, and the harder I am to kill. Fuck ya. And then Jalen gets, and then so like, he was biding his time raising Titigu from the dead. And then he raises him from the dead too. But he's strapped to a table. So he can't really do much except hold Jalen still.
Yeah.
This is
but then more fighting occurs, and
I'm right behind you.
You know, Edris Dean
right?
does a yeet, effectively. And then Kara walks over to Titigu and Jalen's like, no, don't, because he thinks she's gonna like behead him and shit. You know what you do to kill an undead person. And she's like, chill, and then she does a witchy woo over him, and his body just re-dies.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's safe from them now. He's in Valhalla. It is all good. So then they're like, okay, bye, Titigu. We'll miss you. You're a good bud.
Yep.
And then they're like, and then they're like, okay, well, let's go do a thing now. And Jalen's like, but I don't want to go.
Yeah. And they're like, but we're gonna go.
Because Snorri's also been like, I'll take the key back, please. And Jalen's like, excuse you, I earned this key, but fucking fine, have the key. And then Snorri's like, a few minutes later, Snorri's like, you know what, you're right. I had no right to demand the key from you. Here you go. Jalen's like, oh, fucking god damn it, fine. You know what? Because it'll benefit me, because I still owe a shit ton of money and they're expecting me to go home, I will continue south with you. And if we find the door, I don't want you to open the door, but if you do, I will unlock it for you. Okay? I don't want to, and I don't want you to.
But I will.
But I will, because I guess you're my friend.
I'm not going to get this artillery.
You know, like, he's very much like,
can't let him.
This is unnatural to me, and I don't know how to feel about this.
Yep.
So they go, and they're being chased because he still owes a shit ton of money. So he's being chased.
Yeah.
And they're like, quick, to the salt mine. So they find a salt mine and they go inside. And they're like, we want to go in the salt mine. And they're like, no. And, our boss says, no. Jeez. People can't just go into our salt mine. And Jalen's like, aha. And they're like, what? And he's like, well, let me just find this. I happen to have bought 13/24 of this company, which means that I own over 50%. I am your boss's boss. Okay? So just let me in. And they're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So in you go. Like, too many guys, and he genuinely did buy it.
Well, there's too many guys getting killed from
it. It would.
It would.
Especially because it's like
these people.
Honestly, I think the funniest part about naming a Dachshund Snorri is like Snorri's like a Viking.
Yeah, he is. He's a badass Viking, and his name is Snorri. Snorri versus Snuggerson.
There were enemies up here. I saw them.
That would be like your dog's actual full name.
Yes. Yeah. Like at the vet, they have to call out Snorri versus Snuggerson, and it's just like this tiny little thing, and you're like, he's ferocious, I swear.
So they go into the salt mine because also this is where Death's door is. Like, they go in and they find what's his name again? Keenan?
Callan. Sorry.
Okay. That dude.
Yeah.
But it's this weird thing where like
Big Bo, can you get to me?
Clockwork spiders are like puppeting him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more important.
And Jalen's like, what the fuck? And he's just like, I'm very well preserved. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, because he mentioned something about him being dead. And he's like, I'm not dead. I'm just well preserved. And yeah, I don't, okay, is there explanation for that?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean,
there's not.
I'm assuming that there is assumptions that can be made based on information that will further be revealed.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, he's like, I would like the key, please. And he's like, well, I have the key. And he's like, but it's actually really important to me that I get the key. And Jalen's like, this is not how you negotiate. And he's like, I'm not going to negotiate. I'll give you 64,000 golds and you give me the key. And he's like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's like, I could pay off all of my. He's like, I could pay off all my debt, buy all my uncle's boats back because I guess he lost his uncle's boats, and I could do this and that, and then I would still have plenty of money left over. He's like, that is more than enough money. That's a hell of a lot more money than Blow. And he's like, well, exactly. He's like, okay, well, how about this?
Here, if you can hold for a second, I'll be right behind you.
I give you the key, you give me the money, you show us Death's Door, and you let me open it for Snorri.
Going up fast, go.
And he's like, no. He's like, okay, let's knock 1,000 golds off. And inside he's like dying. He's like, that's a lot of money. I don't want to give up 1,000 golds. Yep. And he's like, no. And he's like, you know what? You could offer to pay me. Like, you could offer to pay me to take the key.
Oh, a flat cannon.
And and show you Death's Door. But no, like, there is nothing that will convince me to let you open the door. It's just not a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, why? And he's like, because your sister. And then he explains that, sister is a powerful thing that, she's just waiting for you to open the door. And then you will be a thing that she can kill and become like the most powerful unborn in existence. And she will end the world. So no. He's like, I like the world. Let's not end it, please. And yeah, when we get some more chatty chats about people's motivations and stuff like that. And in the meantime, Jalen is hearing this knocking thing at dusk because he hasn't seen his demon bitch for a while, but since he got the key, he's been hearing knocking every dusk. And he's like, fuck, there's all these doors here because there's a shit ton of doors there. He's like, I need to find the dark door.
Yeah.
So he finds the dark door. Like, he's keeping this guy busy in conversation, finds the dark door, opens it up, and he's like, take him, people. He wants to be your lord and master. Because, he does. And so then, all the demons come and grab Callum and drag him into dark I guess.
Actually does it.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, they yeet him away. And then she's like, mwahaha. And they're like, okay, let's shut the door now. And she's like, no. And then they're like, well, fuck you. And then like they put her back in her lane and shut the door.
Yeah.
And then because it's Jalen, Snorri, Kara, and Hannon, and they're just like, so well, I guess that's that then. And he's like, sorry, do you really want to open the Death's Door thing you heard what was just said? And he's like, no, I still kind of want to do a thing. And he's like, but you could have a wife and a son, she's got the hots for you. He's an orphan. Like, you could be a family. In his head, he doesn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, I want to do it. And he's like, okay, fine, let's find the fucking Death Door then. So then they find the Death Door. And for whatever reason, Jalen's like, I'll come with you. And Snorri's like, you're a real bro. And he's like, Kara, take the key and I guess lock the door behind us.
Yeah.
So she can't get out.
Just like, he's literally going to go to hell.
And even as his mouth is talking, saying like, yeah, I will go with you. You're my friend and I will support you and I will help you. The other half of his brain is going, why are you saying this? We're not going to hell, okay? We're not doing it. I refuse. So then they say their goodbyes, and he hugs Kara, and then he steals the key back. Oh no,
Yeah.
not yet. So they open the door. Snorri walks in, and then Jalen lets the door go, and he doesn't know if like he's like, I would have said it's like it slipped from my hands, and I would blame it on sweaty palms. So fuck, it's dry in here because it's a giant salt deposit.
Mhm.
And then so the door shuts, and then he looks at the others. He's like, I don't want to go in there, and they're like, that's fine, that's understandable. And he's like, my mine actually is like a fucking gold mine, but like salt. I'm gonna be able to pay off all my debts in no time. So let's just go and let's just forget this ever happened. So he hugs Kara, takes the key back, and in his head he's like, she's gonna notice in like 2 seconds that I stole the key back because she has to lock the door. And he's like, I'm going home, and then the door opens, a hand grabs him and pulls him in, and then the book ends.
Yep.
Who pulls him in? What is it? Is it Snorri?
I
don't feel like it.
That's and then we find out.
I don't feel like that is something that Snorri would do.
What is it?
I feel like Snorri would go. He changed his mind. That's fair. This isn't his mission.
I forget who pulls them in, but yeah, he gets pulled into hell.
Yeah. Well, the key is on him.
Yeah.
Like he has. So that's how the book ends. He gets pulled into hell. And yeah, that's the book.
That's the book. The third book
That was
is
a
my
long
favorite.
one.
It's probably my favorite book ever.
Yeah.
No,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the third book also, like in audiobook hours, these books are 20 hours long. They're a slog. It's a good slog, but they are long boys. They're long ass books.
Sorry, I'm gonna fight right now.
Yes. And again, though, like,
Yeah.
in terms of the actual plot itself, not a lot of things actually really happen. It's a lot more little character development things that happen.
And we're doing a lot of like setting up for the next book, for the final book anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and like in terms of him being 20 hours long in audiobook time, it's not I was going to say it's not a hard read. You have to paying attention. So in that sense, it's not an easy read, but it's not like, oh my God, can you just finish already?
Yeah. If you're not
It's an enjoyable
attention,
20 hours.
Then, you're going to be lost.
Get confused.
But it is an enjoyable 20 hours. It's just one of these books that like you have to be paying attention or you're just going to be like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, if you're looking for an easy read, these books are not the books for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they are not easy reads.
If you want an easy read, like, go buy a YA book.
So Peter said, what's the supernatural element in this? Are they zombies, demons, vampires, or something? So, okay, so just to recap kind of, so this takes place 1,000 years after a nuclear apocalypse that took place 50 years from where we are now. So 50 years in our future, there was a nuclear apocalypse, and now we're 1,000 years out from that nuclear apocalypse. We're kind of in like what feels to me like Renaissance Europe.
Yeah.
As far as technology goes. But there's still stuff left over. So you have things like builder stone, which is cement, builder steel, which is like our steel, builder lights, which you can kind of discern are like street lights. It's hard to say because these books are written in first person. So you're only getting information that the characters know, and the characters don't know what they actually are to us. So it's kind of left up to interpretation sometimes, left for you to figure out what certain things are.
And there is magic and stuff like that, but it's all based in scientists were doing a thing to try and do a thing, and they've left ways for things to happen where magic can be a thing.
Yeah, so it's our world, and then
It's-
magic couldn't happen until after the nuclear stuff.
Because I was in the middle of a script.
Yeah, because it blasted open doorways to things. And like if you get into like really advanced physics and shit, most of the things that happen in these books are theoretically a thing that could potentially happen.
Yeah.
So there is
So-
magic, but it's based in science. Not
And we'll get into this in the next one, because it explains better like what the gods are and stuff like that, and how they have like Norse gods that are people that can interact with stuff and all that
Yeah.
fun junk.
What do you do?
But
yeah. So it's kind of so it's supernatural, but not at the same time.
Yeah, next book there's a lot more with like so there's also like people being raised from the dead. There's like necromancers and stuff. So there is magic. It's complicated. This is a complicated world.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So, but yeah,
But yeah.
no, it's a really good series. This is my favorite series ever. This is my favorite series right now.
Yeah, no,
Like, whatever.
it's a fun read.
Yeah, it is. So
Yeah, the protagonist really makes the book.
it really does. Like, I would highly recommend. Like, I know a lot of stuff. If you don't want to read it, you can probably listen to us talk about it. It's hard for us to talk about these books in a way that really captures like what it's like to read them. But Jalen's a lot of fun. He's really great. I would recommend reading the Broken Empire series first. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. I read them in the opposite order that they were meant to be read in. And like, I was fine. I was more confused, but I was fine. But they are really good books. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and if you do decide to take the plunge and read them in the recommended reading order, which is Broken Empire and then Red Queen's War, and you don't really like, you like, there's aspects about Broken Empire that I like, but I didn't enjoy the books too much because Jorg is a very polarizing character. Jalen is nothing like Jorg. I mean, like, they've got a lot of their lives kind of mirror each other in a lot of ways, but they're two completely different people.
Yeah.
And Jalen is much more universally liked.
Yeah. And Jalen
is far less polarizing.
Well, Jorg I love Jorg to bits as a character.
I enjoy Jorg.
Jalen's more fun to read.
But yeah. And yeah, like I think we both appreciated Jorg's sarcasm.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Like, there was stuff like that is what made him enjoyable, but he does some pretty repugnant things. And he's just like, look, I'm a bad guy. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Whereas Jalen doesn't have, like, his motivations come from different things.
And Jalen's never really a bad guy. He's just like a guy who's like, I'm not the chosen one. What the fuck? And I'm in chosen one shit. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's also kind of moralist, but not in the same way. Like, he doesn't torture people for fun and shit like that. He's more like, I will deflower all the virgins kind of bad stuff.
Jalen's chaotic neutral. Jorg is chaotic evil.
Yeah.
So.
Now you're gonna go for the brownies?
So they're fun.
Yeah, they're fun. So next week we will be finishing up Wheel of Oshime.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that book.
And
then later this week on Saturday.
I don't think are we revealing what we're reading, or are we going to leave it a surprise still?
I've tried this one before.
It's a surprise. What we're reading on Saturday is a surprise.
You will find out when you. Are you actually going to put the title, like the name in the title?
I'm gonna have to censor it. I'm gonna have to censor it. I think.
Probably. We don't. Okay, we will say this for our next book. It's not our
Okay.
usual book.
No, it's
Kind of
not.
book.
It is not.
Um,
And
There might be different guys.
And we're not too sure how it's going to go. We think it'll
Yeah.
either be glorious or it'll be really just
but I will say it's probably a book club stream you won't want to miss.
Even if the book itself is bad, the plot concept is amazing. So
Like us talking
well,
about the plot concept will absolutely. We're gonna have to use code words for things though, so that we don't get like kicked off. So we're gonna have to do like a
thing.
like at the beginning. Here is what we're talking about, so that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 10 shots.
So
Fun.
yeah, it'll be a ride.
So yeah, so that's this book. That's what we're doing next time. I'm ready. But yeah, so
Have you
we will see
started
guys.
it yet?
I have
It's outside the play.
Me neither.
not. But I will see.
Okay.
We will see you guys on Saturday.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.